Good evening everyone, welcome to the official YouTube channel of Officers Adda 24/7. My name is Amanjyot and today we are going to discuss the role of correspondent banking. So first we are going to understand what is correspondent bank, what are the correspondent banking services will be provided by the correspondent bank. After that we are also going to discuss certain types of account, that is Nostro, Vostro and Loro, because these are the types of account in which the correspondent bank or the correspondent banking services will be provided by the bank. Okay. So before starting the session, let me know, am I audible to all of you, and the PPT is also visible. Are we good to go? Good evening, Umesh. Let me know, am I audible to all of you? Everything is okay? Are we good to go? So first of all, whenever we are talking about the correspondent banking or the correspondent bank, so it is a financial institution. So whenever a financial institution provides service on behalf of another financial institution, that services are known as correspondent banking. Okay, so when one financial institution is providing services on behalf of another financial institution, then it will be known as correspondent banking services, or it is known as correspondent bank, the bank who is providing the services. Okay, so let's start with the definition. So it is written here that a financial institution that provides services on behalf of another or equal or unequal financial institution, it is known as correspondent bank. So whether it's a equal level bank or whether it's not an equal level bank, but one financial institution is providing services on behalf of another, then that will be known as corresponding banking services provided by the correspondent bank. Okay, now the other financial institution who is providing services on behalf of another financial institution, that bank will be known as your correspondent bank. Okay, now a correspondent bank can conduct business transactions, accept deposits and gather documents on behalf of the other financial institution. Now what types of services they can provide? A correspondent bank can conduct business transactions of a bank, it can accept deposit of the bank, it can gather the document on behalf of the correspondent bank. Okay, so these are the services really provided by the correspondent bank. Now the correspondent banks are used by domestic banks in order to service transaction originating in foreign countries and act as a domestic bank's agent abroad. So for example, State Bank of India is the bank of our country. It is the largest public sector bank of our country. And let's say, for example, State Bank of India wants to perform a certain transaction for its customer in foreign country. And SBI do not have any physical branch there, for example, or SBI do not have a certain availability in that particular country to provide services. Now what will happen? So a State Bank of India will go to the particular foreign bank and have a certain Nostro account with that foreign bank, and then the foreign bank or the foreign institution, whichever it is, it will provide or it will work as a bank or as an agent of a State Bank of India and will providing the services to the State Bank of India's customer in the foreign country. Okay, so this is the process which will be performed by the correspondent bank. So simply, correspondent banks are used by the domestic banks in order to service transaction originating in the foreign countries and act as a domestic bank's agents. So let's say, for example, the foreign bank who is performing as a correspondent bank, it is a HSBC bank. Now HSBC bank is a correspondent bank and a State Bank of India are respondent bank. So on behalf of State Bank of India, HSBC bank is providing services to the customer of State Bank of India in foreign country. That will be known as the correspondent banking transaction, or that will be known as correspondent bank. Okay, next, and the HSBC will work as a agent of the State Bank of India, right? This done because the domestic bank may have limited access to foreign financial market. Now why we are performing this as activity? This is done because the domestic bank may have limited access to the foreign countries or foreign markets, or cannot service its client accounts without opening up a branch in another country. So it is obvious, if you are having a foreign clients and you are not having a bank in that particular country, or you are not having a physical branch in that particular country, it is obvious that you will not be able to provide banking services to your customers. That's why a domestic banks maintain a certain relation with the foreign bank or the foreign institution, so that their customers will get the services on behalf of SBI from the particular financial institution which is located in the foreign country. Okay, so this is the role of the correspondent bank, or correspondent banking is known as like this. Okay, now let's move forward and let's understand how this correspondent banking actually works. Okay, let's understand that first. So first of all, let's take, there are two countries. First is like India, and second is, let's say, for example, USA. We have two countries, India and USA. We have SBI, State Bank of India in India, and we have Citibank in USA, for example. Okay, Now these are two banks, one is your Indian bank, one is your foreign bank. So SBI is your domestic bank and USA is your the Citibank is your foreign bank. Okay, now in that situation what will happen? Now for example, let's say State Bank of India and this Citibank are having relationship with each other and they are having a continuous transaction. Okay, they are having a continuous transaction, not single transaction. They are not performing the correspondent banking services for only one transaction. They are having the continuous transaction between those. Okay, so now for example, State Bank of India has a Nostro account. State Bank of India has a Nostro account with the Citibank in USA. The account will be in USA and the account will be in US dollar. Okay, and the Citibank is maintaining a Vostro account. Citibank is maintaining a Vostro account in India in Indian rupee. Okay, so both the banks are having transactions with each other, both the banks are having accounts with each other, and by using these accounts they will provide services to their customers. So Citibank will provide services to their customers in India in Indian rupee, and State Bank of India will provide services to their customer in USA in US dollar. Okay, let's say for example there is a person, there is a customer A. Okay, there is a customer A, right? Now this customer A wants to transfer money to a certain person who is living in USA, or want to transfer the money to that particular person. Now what will happen? Simply here is a customer B. So this A customer want to send the money to the customer B. Now what will happen? This customer will go to the State Bank of India, and then State Bank of India will transfer this money to the USA bank, that is Citibank, and this Citibank will provide the loan fund or the remittance which is done by the customer A to the customer B. So this is a very simple transaction which happened between customer A, B and State Bank of India and Citibank. This is a very common or traditional transaction which happens with the bank from other countries. Okay, now for example, let's say there is another bank, there is a Punjab National Bank, for example. We have a Punjab National Bank in India. Now PNB is not having a particular account in foreign country with foreign bank in foreign currency. For example, now Punjab National Bank is not having a certain account. Now what will happen in that condition? Now a customer came, the customer of Punjab National Bank wants to transfer money to the USA in dollars. Okay, in that situation the PNB cannot transfer that money directly to the Citibank because PNB is not maintaining any account or relation with the Citibank. Now what will happen? PNB will use the Nostro account of State Bank of India and will transfer then the dollars to the Citibank, and the Citibank will give that particular dollars to the customer B. Now this is a complex transaction in which the Punjab National Bank is using the Nostro account of the other domestic bank to providing services to their customer in the foreign country. Now this account of PNB will be known as Loro account. This will be known as Loro account. So this is how we can say our correspondent banking services will perform when you have to provide the services to your customer in another country in foreign currency. Then you maintain a certain account with the foreign bank. Okay, then you have to maintain the bank account with the foreign bank, and that account will be known as Nostro account. So simply Nostro means ours. So whenever Indian bank is maintaining account with foreign bank, that will be known as your Nostro account, and when a foreign bank is maintaining account with Indian bank, that will be known as your Vostro account. So do remember, Indian bank is maintaining account with foreign bank, that is your Nostro, and foreign bank maintaining account with Indian bank, that is Vostro account. Now these transactions are part of the correspondent banking services in which you are providing your services to your customer in another country in another currency. Okay, so this, I think this process or this transactions will clear to all of you. Let me know this is clear to all of you or not. This process of performing the transaction between Indian bank and foreign bank, between two financial institutions, is it clear to all of you or not? So what happening here is, now Citibank is working as a correspondent bank and State Bank of India is working as a respondent bank. Now Citibank on behalf of SBI providing services to the SBI customer in foreign country in foreign currency. So the Citibank is performing as a correspondent bank, or it is providing the correspondent services or banking services. Okay, clear to all? Yes, clear. Thank you so much, Sathi. Now let's move forward. What are the services which is included under the correspondent banking? So first is international wire transfer will be included. Second is check clearance will be included. Then your drawing arrangement for demand draft and mail transfers will be included, and cash or fund transfer will be included. So these are the services will be included under the correspondent banking, which is provided by another financial institution for any financial institution in foreign country in foreign currency. Okay. So these are the services covered under the correspondent banking. Now there are two different types of banks also who are performing under the correspondent banking. First is shell bank. Now what is shell bank? A bank that is incorporated in a country where it has no physical presence and is not affiliated to any regulated financial group. So shell bank is the bank which is a bank which is incorporated in a particular country. Let's say a bank is incorporated in India, but it do not have any physical presence and not registered under a regulatory body or any regulatory financial group. Okay, that bank will be known as your shell bank. Now what are the major business activity with this shell bank will provide? First is banks management will be done. Then the level of KYC and anti-money laundering compliance will be done by the shell bank for the another bank. Now who will be the shell bank here is, let's say for example there is a bank, we have discussed about this transaction between bank A, bank B, customer A or customer B, SBI, and then we have discussed Citibank. Now who will be the shell bank here? For example, we are having a multiple transactions. Then what happened is India and USA bank will having another banks. Let's say there is a bank X and there is a bank Y. Okay, now this bank X is helping State Bank of India to know what is the credit worthiness of Citibank, and then bank Y is helping the Citibank to know what is the credit worthiness of SBI. After knowing this, after knowing the credit worthiness or the transaction limit or what are the multiple jurisdictions are involved, the bank is involved. After knowing all these things, the bank will make sure that they are having a financial relationship or they are having a correspondent banking relationship with the right bank. So these banks are the shell banks, which we can say simply providing you the services of knowing that which particular bank is right or which particular bank is not right. Okay, so they are not registered under a particular financial group, or they are providing you the certain services. They will let you know that what is the bank's management right now. They will let you know what is the level of know your customer of a bank and what is the level of anti-money laundering compliance of a bank. Then the purpose of opening the correspondent account. Why State Bank of India is opening a correspondent account in Citibank? The purpose. What is the purpose of SBI? It will be let know by the Citibank with the help of shell bank. Now identity of any third party entity that will use the correspondent banking services, like PNB is using the correspondent banking services by using the State Bank of India's Nostro account. Now this identity will be given to the Citibank by the shell bank. Now the regulatory framework and environment in the correspondent country. Now what is the regulatory status or what is the environment or what are the rules, regulations, guidelines in the correspondent country? For example, in USA, State Bank of India do not know what are the regulations are there, what are the environment are there, what is the how the financial sector work there. State Bank of India do not know about that. Then the shell bank will let an SBI know that this is the guidelines which you have to follow if you start correspondent banking in the USA. Okay. Now the next is legislation in place to curb money laundering activities, terrorist financing and their enforcement. So it will also let you know that in the country in which you are going for the correspondent banking, now which of the following activities or the laws you have to follow to curb the money laundering or to control the terrorism financing. Okay. Now the next is one second. The next is ensure the correspondent bank has never been subjected to any serious money laundering or terrorism financing investigation or regulatory action. Now the shell bank will also let SBI know that this Citibank will never came under the any money laundering activity, or it has not performed by the shell bank to your correspondent to your respondent bank. Okay. Now the next type of bank is respondent bank. Now what is respondent bank? The respondent bank is a bank on whose behalf another bank, that is correspondent bank, acts in financial market so that it may be able to provide necessary services to its account holder. Now we have discussed that State Bank of India is a correspondent bank. Then we have discussed the shell bank will be the mediators bank, which are giving you the information of about each other banks, and the respondent bank will be the respondent bank is SBI, the correspondent bank is Citibank, and the mediator banks will be your shell banks who will let you know about the transactions of the customers. Okay, so this is what we have discussed under the types of bank. First is correspondent, then is shell bank, and now is respondent bank. So respondent bank in our example will be State Bank of India. Okay, respondent bank will be our State Bank of India. Okay, now let's move forward, and we are talking about respondent bank. So the respondent bank is a bank on whose behalf another bank, that is correspondent bank. In our example, respondent bank will be State Bank of India and correspondent bank will be your Citibank. Okay, in our example. Now next thing is attacks the financial market so that it may be able to provide necessary services to its account holders. Now a bank may ask another bank, usually bigger, okay, in a major city or different country to perform various financial transactions on its behalf, which the bank itself unable to perform due to limitations of financial, geographical and feasibility in nature. Okay, so these are the transactions which will be provided by the correspondent bank on behalf of your respondent bank. Clear? So we have discussed here what is respondent bank, what is correspondent bank, and what is shell bank. So the second paragraph is saying a bank may ask another bank, usually it will be a bigger bank, because Citibank is we are asking to the foreign countries bank, so it will be a bigger bank. It can be a bigger bank, it can be a equal bank also. Okay, bigger bank in a major city or different country, like we have asked for with the Citibank in the US, in another country, so to perform the various financial transactions on behalf of the SBI, because SBI is unable to perform the services in the foreign country because of the certain limitations. It can be a financial limitation, it can be a geographical limitation, it can be a feasibility in nature. So these are the respondent, correspondent and shell bank which we have discussed. Now I think role of correspondent banking will be clear to all of you, and to know or to control money laundering or your terrorism financing, what we are doing, we are using the shell bank to know about the money laundering, terrorism financing, any activity which is a particular bank is performing, what is bank's management, what is the risk involved in the bank particular, everything will be known by the shell bank. So similarly, whenever you are performing as a correspondent banking, you are also having a shell bank who is letting you know that this is a safe correspondent banking services or not. Okay, now let's start with a certain MCQs on the correspondent banking. First you have to answer the option, then we will discuss that it is true or not, and at the end I will ask that out of 5 questions how many questions you have done correct. Okay, so let's start with the first question. It is asking what services are offered by correspondent bank. So which of the following services are provided by the correspondent bank to its customers? Is it check clearing, is it international wire transfer, is it cash fund transfer, or all of the above? So what will be the right answer for the first question? Let me know. Is it A, B, C or D? Now what will be the right answer? A, B, C or D? So right answer here will be all of these. All are the services which is provided by the correspondent banking. Okay, all of these will be the right answer, that it provide all of these services. It provide check clearing, international wire transfer, cash fund transfers. Now the second question is, that dash is a bank which is incorporated in a country where there is no physical presence and is not affiliated to any regulated financial group. So is it a shell bank, is it a correspondent bank, is it a local area bank, or is it a none of the above bank? So which of the following will be true? So we are talking about a bank which is incorporated in a country where there is no physical presence and is not affiliated to any regulated financial group. A, B, C or D, what will be the answer? So it is obvious, if we are using the elimination method, if you use the elimination method, then it is confirmed that it can't be the local area bank. Okay, because local area banks are the banks which are not under the Schedule 2 of Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. So it can be a shell bank or it can be a correspondent bank, and it is very easy to answer that which of the following is true, because it is incorporated in our country and has no physical presence and not affiliated to any regulated financial group. Now, which of the following will be the right answer? A, B, C or D? So right answer here will be your shell bank. Shell bank is the bank which is incorporated in a country and has no physical presence or not affiliated to the regulated financial group. Okay, next. Third is dash is the provision of banking services by one bank to another bank. So dash is the provision of banking services by one bank to another bank. Is it a correspondent banking? Is it a universal banking? Is it a virtual banking, or is it none of the above? Which of the following will be right answer? A, B, C or D? Oh, they do write the question number also. Whenever you are answering, do write the question number also, that for which question you are answering. Now, for this, right answer will be your A option, that is true, that is corresponding banking. So corresponding banking is the provision of banking services by one bank to another bank. Okay, so right answer will be A. Now the fourth question is, which of the following information about the correspondent bank must be available? So whenever you are following or whenever you are approaching for a correspondent bank, now which of the following information you should have about the correspondent bank? The level of AMC, KYC, the major business activity, the bank's management, all of these. So which of the following will be the right answer for the question number 4? It means when State Bank of India is approaching Citibank to make it a correspondent bank, to make a correspondent banking relationship. Now, which of the following information should State Bank of India have so that it can decide very easily that we want to make it a correspondent bank or not? So, which of the following will be right? Correct. So, right answer will be your D option. All of the above we should have, or State Bank of India should have all of the above information at the time of SBI is approaching for a correspondent banking. Okay, so right answer will be D. Next. Fifth question is, while monitoring of customer transaction, it should be ensured that there is no dash, manipulation or size of transactions, so that if seen individually, they fall below the threshold that needs to be reported to the monitoring authority. So is it a ladding, is it a structuring, is it a entrailing, is it a selection? So which of the following will be right? A, B, C or D for the fifth question? Is it A, B, C or D? So first of all, if we are talking about structuring, structuring is also known as smurfing. It is also, right answer will be your structuring. It is also known as smurfing. Okay, it is also known as smurfing in banking industry. In banking industry, it is also known as your smurfing. Okay, now what does this structuring means? Whenever we are talking about structuring, first of all, structuring is also known as smurfing in the banking industry jargon, and it is a practice of executing the financial transaction in a specific pattern which is calculated to avoid the creation of the certain records and reports required by the law. So structuring includes the act of parceling what would otherwise be a large financial transaction into a series of smaller transactions to avoid a certain complex transaction for the regulatory bodies. Okay, so structuring often appears in a federal indications, or we can say the money laundering related activities or fraud related activities or other financial crime related activities. So structuring will be our right answer for the fifth question. It is also known as smurfing, and it is used by the regulatory bodies of financial institution to acts or to issues which are related to the money laundering, fraud or financial crime. So what we are saying, while monitoring of customer transaction, it should be ensured that there is no structuring. It means there will be no money laundering, fraud or other financial crimes, okay, or manipulation of the size of transactions, so that if seen individually, they fall below the threshold that needs to be reported to the monitoring authority. Because if you are not, if you are doing the structuring, it means you are not hiding the transaction limit, or you are not hiding the transaction amount. or you are not hiding the fraud, looking for the money laundering or financing of terrorism, etc., to make them the report that these transactions are suspicious, or these transactions are related to money laundering, or these transactions are related to the financing of transaction. Oh, sorry, terrorism. Okay, so the right answer will be structuring. I hope structuring term will be clear to all of you. Now these are the 5 questions which we have discussed. Now let me know out of 5 how many questions you have done correct. And there is one information for all of you, that on the occasion of Buddha Purnima, we have a certain offer for all of you. Those candidates who are preparing for JAIIB exam, CAIIB exam, and any other bank promotion exam. So there is 80% flat off sale is going on, and it will end today night, tonight. So you can use a code Y496 to enroll in particular batch in JAIIB, CAIIB and bank promotion exam. And if you purchase this particular product or any product from our 24/7 application, you will get 1% additional discount on the price. So you will get 81% discount for today only on the occasion of the Buddha Purnima. Okay. Now next is the bank interbank quiz is going to held on 22nd of May, live on only on officers at 24/7 at 11 AM. Okay, so those candidates who are willing to participate in this particular quiz, you can enroll yourself from the description. Okay, there is a form available, and this quiz will be based on your general knowledge, your banking current affairs, your banking awareness. Okay, and it is going to held on the 22nd of May. Now, one information for all of you, those candidates who are preparing for June JAIIB exam, we are coming with the 3 important batches that is related to 2 batches are related to your case study transactions or case study practice, and one is your crash course that is known as the selection batch.